Yeah, Spartacus. I don't know where anyone else is. To be honest, this is in the middle of the night for Steve, so if he doesn't show, I'm fine with it. I'm sure Bernardo's on his way. I was talking to him all day today. We are on the second official season, even though it's kind of, I get confused because Bernardo calls it season 3, and it kind of is. But Arena of the Gods was like the half season, prequel season. So the next, I love how they don't call them seasons. They just give them names. This one's called Vengeance. I'm going to talk about it, and when Bernardo hops on or Stig, I'll let them backtrack a little bit. But I definitely, hold on. Starts now. Stig is coming. And let me tell you one thing. I'm super happy to have Stig on these. This has been great. This has been great having him on. So to give basically a rundown, again, spoilers we're all doing here. First one's called Fugitives. Of course, this is the new Spartacus. Liam McIntyre does a good job. I really feel at the beginning they should have said who he was playing, because at first, I mean, it's obvious he's going to be Spartacus, but if you don't know, you're thinking, who's this new actor? Because they don't call him Spartacus for the longest. And I think that would confuse a lot of people who don't realize they switched actors. I had forgotten they switched out Navia too. I didn't even know. And the new Navia girl, I don't like as much, but I'll talk about that later. Also, Agron, he cuts his hair. I thought it looked so cool with the dreadlocks, tied up in a man bun. There he is. Hey, Steve.
Hi.
I was just talking about, we just started, but I was just talking about Agron's new look. He goes with the shortcut hair instead of the dreadlocks. They're kind of in a man bun. And I kind of dug the old look better.
It's because his gay lover kept pulling his hair.
Perhaps so. But everyone looks a little bit different, except for Crixus. He doesn't look.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm thinking season 3. I just started that.
Yeah, season 3, and there's great scenes. It starts. I was just talking about the first episode. It starts off where Spark is just killing soldiers, man. It's just good. Like, it just starts off with blood everywhere. Bernardo's on his way. He just texted me. I found something, and here's something, Steve, from my first watching. I remember when I first watched it, whenever they showed arena fights, I felt sad because I wanted back to the good old days. But this time watching it, I was like, those mean nothing for me now. Because it's not the House of Batiatus. I don't really care about who's fighting in the arena now. And I just kind of noticed that this time watching it. That you don't really care about the arena. You're kind of following the main storyline, which is, of course, maybe that's symbolic, maybe, but they're just nameless gladiators fighting in the arena and they make them so nameless that they put helmets on. Did you notice they cover a lot of their faces?
Well, that's because they're using the same stuntman.
Bro, oh yes, I agree, but I'm just saying they're not even trying to give these gladiators a look. Yeah. They're just kind of the gladiators in the background now. Onomaeus is killing. He's fighting. What was he? Oh wait, no, that's later. That's later. I skipped ahead there by accident.
Yeah, that's episode 2, I think.
Yeah. They are. I like how they go on a rampage, killing in a whorehouse, and they give a sword to the wiener.
Yeah.
And I like also how in Spartacus, they do not discriminate. I never saw this either until now. I get to watch it in DVD HD, but it was when they showed it's an old woman and she's naked, and she's in the background. This old portly woman, and I was like, that is hilarious. But let's see, what was I going to say? I don't know. So Lucy Lawless. Okay, she's found alive. She is. We already talked about how good she was in the first season, but Lucy Lawless again kind of redefines Lucretia's character. She goes from crazy to kind of stable to kind of off the rails. but now we see her as a different character, not this cold, calculating woman.
Oh, well, actually, that's exactly what she is.
Well, later on.
She's pretending not to be from the first minute.
Yeah.
So she's tricking the audience too.
Yeah, we don't know that to the very end, but I'm just saying again, I like because it fools you. And we're just talking about the first episode, Bernardo. That's right, stripped down. Every time I say Spartacus, you got to take off another thing of labor. But it is the first episode. I see that the first episode really packs a punch and tells you what the tone is going to be for Vengeance. Any thoughts about the first episode?
So I put here Spartacus starts off with a dope slow motion fight. So I was wrong. There's a lot of slow motion fights in this. I misremembered everything.
I did too later on, but yeah.
Anameus's fight scene was wild. The Vero's wife getting killed was crazy. I was like, oh my gosh, Anameus came through with this episode. That was good. Yeah, I mean, it started off with a punch. It was intense. There was fighting. We kind of knew that there was structure, and it kind of almost felt like a time jump where they kind of have their own civilization where they've taken over a house.
They've taken over their own thing.
Shout out to Mira because she had the best kill in the season with that, the jumping stabby thing. She jumped on the Roman and just clung to him and just stabbed like 15 times.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
Yeah. The first episode, was it? Or was that later?
I think that was later on, but I agree with you, Stig. That was awesome. I didn't write that one down, but because she jumps in, blah, 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 as he's going down, just stabs him. I remember that. There's a lot of
stealing.
So what?
What were you saying? The guy you caught stealing? Was that it?
And the first episode?
No, it's no. It's a Roman.
It's a Roman she attacks. Anyway, the second episode. Hello, everyone. Hello. It's okay, Drew, because Thomas Drew, because nobody likes you either. It's a wonder. I'm telling you.
I like him a little bit.
You like him a little bit? Okay, then he's fine. We love you, Thomas. All right, and hello, Fine Editions. Hello, Michael. A Place in This World is the second episode. I had totally forgotten about this episode. I had totally forgotten this. A young Anameus doing pit battles, raised by the father who now looks younger. It just blows my mind again how they do this. And the father is, he's a good father figure. He's a good guy deep down inside. And I love how they recreate, his character once again, bring him back for vengeance in this flashback, and shows you why Anameus is really torn, because the house of Batiatus isn't the same. He wasn't raised with the same hate, He was raised by the father. It's kind of had a little honor.
It's a nice separation too, because it flashes back as him as a kid, and it goes back to him as an adult going back there, because he kind of has to start over, right? He found his desire to be honorable towards the house in that area because he didn't know who he was. He didn't have a purpose. So Batiatus gave him a purpose. Now he went back to his roots because he doesn't know who he is anymore. He lost everything.
Exactly. And he's just trying to find someone to kill him. And of course, it kind of ends where Asher, captures him. But go ahead,
Asher, bro.
The symbolism, though, is he goes back to where he was born for a rebirth.
Oh yeah. No, it's fantastic. But also in the scene, Ilithia has feelings for Spartacus. She starts thinking about him, which they don't really explain in the rest of the season, I don't think.
It's one of those things where her husband wants nothing to do with her, so she kind of her last intimate moment was literally him. So it's kind of like, I get it. Like it makes sense, like from a psychological standpoint. Did they need it? Probably not. But like her character was kind of like just hanging on a thread at that point.
Okay. Hey Jordan. Hey Teresa.
Maybe she liked it rough.
Well, she did praise the gladiator at the time anyway, so that's the whole reason she even did that. So sure, yeah.
And folks, you gotta check out Miss Martin Muses. She's throwing out some bangers right now on her channel. Some good videos there. Glauber gets blamed for Spartacus and his soldiers. His soldiers leaving during the insurrection. They left with Ilithia and left all that. So they think that you could have stopped him right then and there. So at first, it already sets the tone that we're going to see later on, where Glauber is getting pressure. All the pressure's on Glauber, and it looks like his star is falling. So everyone's trying to find their place in this world. Honestly, this whole TV show is way smarter. I mean, I already told Bernardo this, but I already told him, Stig, I thought it was a 10 before I watched it again. And now I think, man, I need to throw up my scale here. It's better than a 10. It's so incredible.
The other crucial part that happens here, too, is Asher captures Onimaeus, right? And then we find out that earlier he gives her the secret note. We don't know who that is. We don't know what the note is. But we find out that he's working with her to claim that she has this power from the gods when she knew that Onimaeus was going to come to her, kind of thing. But in reality, Asher already kind of planned to like merge. We don't exactly know what it said, but we know they had a connection because that's how that all came out.
All staged. It
was good.
She is not crazy. Well, she is crazy, but she's not loony. Yeah. You know, she is absolutely calculating, and she has one goal.
She goes crazy for sure.
Absolutely.
I think when she reached her final goal this season, I think there was a lot of stuff that got cut. No pun intended. From that scene when she took what she wanted.
I liked it.
I think
she had a good note. She had a death that like actually made sense, and I was okay with it.
It's a good point that Steve makes, because I wonder how many uncut scenes, because I have the DVD and I don't think it has deleted scenes on the DVD. So, but I bet
I think I saw the Alithia actress said that particular scene was really graphic.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot more screaming and stuff, and it was longer, and they didn't put it in there because maybe too much.
Yeah.
I mean,
stop them from that freaking Caesar thing, which I haven't seen it yet, and I'm dreading the moment it happens because I thought it was this season, and I'm freaking thank God. I'm not looking forward to this season.
Okay, so anyway, the greater good is the next episode. Crixus is told that Navia is dead, but then we find out Argon was just lying to just get Crixus off the scent and just focus on just serving Spartacus.
Which you know, in hindsight, probably a good idea if they hadn't.
I agree. Yes, it turns out it would have been.
Because she's the biggest dumbass in the show.
Yeah.
I'm glad they changed her character, like the actor, because I don't think that actor's innocence was so strong. I don't think she could have been an aggressor. And I think they needed her to later become an aggressor. And I think she does a good job over time. But she does have she has the weaker lines and the weaker kind of backstory. But I think it picks up later as I'm learning.
Well, and I'll talk more about her in a minute. But they end up saving her. It's a new actress they got because the other one, I guess because of the delay in production, she got a job on another TV show and they had to recast her. Lucifer, was it? Okay. She got a job on another TV show.
Oh, nice.
And the thing is, they had to recast the role.
I'm okay with it.
I'm not. Okay. Well, I mean, I'll talk more about her, but Crixus, of course, sacrifices himself so that she can get away. You think Crixus is gone for good here. But also, this is also the episode where, go ahead, Steve.
Well, it's this is where it kind of annoys me that they still keep calling him the undefeated Gaul because he gets beaten up and captured a lot.
Well, in the ring, I guess, you know. Yeah. But the thing is, though, this is where Onimaeus learns about his wife's betrayal from Asher. Yeah, and I mean, again, well, like you said, freaking Asher, man. But you hate him. You hate him, and he's such a good actor to hate.
Yeah, Crixus gets bested by Asher as well. That's who, initiated the capture. Which, I mean, it made sense. They were in a tight space. I mean, I can't imagine somebody with brute force being able to brute his way through a little tiny cave.
Yeah, to be fair, Asher's probably way more deadly in tight spaces than all kinds of other people because he fights dirty.
Literally.
God.
I can't wait till we talk about my favorite part about him.
I know. Crassus' son is good in tight spaces too, Stig, or that's what I heard. Empty Hands is the next. No. Empty Hands is the next episode.
which
and this one,
Crassus'
and this
son
one,
did.
but in this one, the creepy guy from the first one is there. I forgot he came back. Remember the guy that
the plastic
got
face.
the ugliest, plastic face. I totally forgot he was in this.
Caesar learned that Crassus's son was a good drill sergeant in the army.
Not to be one up, sir. There you go. Good on you. Anyway, they torture during this party at Batia's house. They torture one of the gladiators by cutting pieces off of him.
Yeah.
Yo, that hand shot slow motion was wild.
Oh, dude.
Crazy.
And we find out here Ilithia wants to dissolve her marriage. My game's over there. But this is where that fourth house is in the base game. He's in season 2. And that was Lucretia, and that was a scene. I just forgot it. So he's all about, you got it. He's all about season 2. So she wants to get with him. And she, of course, shows that she's a woman. She's flirting with him. She even is boldly enough to say, hey, yeah. And he, what's his name again? What's his name?
That's Varnius. I don't think that's the one we're talking about, is it?
Yeah, that's him. That's him. And he's the one that, he likes Ilithia. There's something he likes about Ilithia, but he just can't put his finger on it. Oh, wait, he does.
Oh, yes.
Anyway.
Absolutely does.
Yeah, the Sepius. I love them. So, but I have a question for you guys, because I was a little weird. I mean, this is where Lucretia, of course, is so well respected by Romans now. And she even gets to sleep with Ilithia's dad, which is a great, twist at the end. But the thing is, though, I was trying to think, is it because she survived and she's been held to goddess status? Because she was never respected when in the first season they weren't.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, Glaber hypes it up in the marketplace, right? That she was, chosen by the gods or whatever.
Okay, so you think that yeah, but you think that kind of leaked into Rome, and that's why Ilithia's dad's all happy to see. Okay, all right.
I also think it comes down to Ilithia's dad deep down doesn't want her with Glaber, and she kind of sort of said, I can make the gods, be okay with it. And I feel like he just needed that nudge to kind of say, okay, I'm going to use this as my excuse to dissolve your marriage, because that's what she ultimately wants.
Well, Steve just said. What Steve just said, what that said, Steve, that makes sense because, in a way, if someone does survive, they do kind of become a hero in everyone's eyes just by surviving, and then everyone wants to
propaganda thing.
It's infamous, but go ahead.
Yeah, but when it comes to Ilithia's dad, he certainly believed she was divine because she rode the hell out of him.
That was one of those funny scenes that, I wasn't even grossed out by. It was just so comical that I was like, of course that happened.
Well, I love it because Ilithia thinks, hey, I'm getting my way. It's a happy day. Wait a minute. What?
Great. Her face, bro, was so priceless.
It's great.
She just has that frozen, you can't be doing this to me right now face.
It's great. It's great. Next episode is called Libertas.
Seriously, though, Ilithia was one that a lot of people hated in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
She really gets her karma this season repeatedly. She even walks in on, Lucretia shagging her dad, and that's just like no point intended, the tip of it. But.
Everyone bent over. Yeah. Honestly, Glaber got some balls this season too, because he was a little ragdoll. And I was paying attention to his acting. I genuinely think his dialogue was solid. I think they didn't want him to do much, because I feel like if he would have really pushed heavy on his acting, it would have looked like overacting, because his face naturally looks like he's this one, a threat and with power, and two, this sinister guy that he's very plain. Like when he says his lines, he just has a stern look and then just relays it. He isn't like Crixus, who's this freaking animated,
Yeah. Well,
I have a theory about that, where they escalated the physical threat to the main cast, right? Because the physical threat to them is stronger in season 2 than in season 1, because now they have an army after them.
Oh yeah.
But I think they deliberately toned down Glaber's competence because they wanted the real threat in season 3 to look all the more intimidating.
And that's a good art to talk about. I actually love Glauber. I think he's a good character. He doesn't have to be the biggest of the baddies. Obviously, he has some issues, but in Libertas, this one is really kind of where he sees that turn in his fortune come around, because it starts off where Oenomaus and Crixus are about to be executed, and who is their executor? Here comes Rockstar Gannicus, which, by the way, I wrote down one of my favorite lines that I'd forgotten about. I am for wine in the embrace of questionable women. I got
some quotes coming up.
Man, that is a great Gannicus. That is probably one of the best Gannicus quotes. I am for wine. I am for wine in the embrace of questionable women. I was like, come on, get out of here.
I wrote my favorite Gannicus quotes in episode 7. We'll get there.
Okay.
I love Gannicus.
This is where Glauber finds out his wife wants to kill the baby. She finds out about her plans to divorce him. She just comes out and says, Dad's about to dissolve the marriage. You're going down. And there's a look of desperation that he can't do anything. And while they're joking about it in the box, he's just kind of sitting there like a defeated man, a rat trapped in a cage. How do I get out of this? But don't worry, because Spartacus is going to burn the whole stadium down, which is kind of symbolic because the arena was basically its own character in season 1. And it's like, nope, we don't need that anymore. We're moving past this. We've grown. There's a line later on that Crixus says that we've grown past this. That's been many days. And now it's like, hey, we've grown up now. We're not in the arena anymore. And I like the statement that made, but also I forgot that creepy guy got killed with a spear. I was like, what? I forgot about that.
It was so awesome too, because when he gets hit, you could see he's like crying like a little shit kid.
Yes.
And you know the whole sequence is amazing when the arena burns, because they don't hold back at all. It's like you literally see tits burning.
Audience, right?
It's like straight out of a top-notch disaster movie.
It's great. I like the stands are falling and flames are shooting up afterwards.
It looked good.
It did look good. Yeah, it looks great because you've seen that in crowds, the stand imploding and people falling.
Yeah.
So it also, of course, this is where Glauber's father-in-law gets trapped, and Glauber starts to help him and goes, wait a minute. Yeah, I'm going to kill him. And then he tells Elite, and this is kind of how it ends. We will survive together as husband and wife. And now how she was all high and mighty over him because he could do nothing. Now she realizes in her heart she is trapped with him. And now Glauber has all the power. And this shift in the relationship, the shift in the power struggle happens again. This show delivered on this episode. We got to see Gannicus come back. We found out what was going on behind the scenes. We saw the whole thing kind of turn upside down on its head, and Glauber and Ilithia's relationship. And you hated him in season 1, so we're killing Creepy Man because you got to give the fans what they want. This was, I said, man, this is what Spartacus is. It delivers.
And it sets up Gannicus's purpose as well, because he saves Oenomaus, because he knows now Oenomaus knows about him and his wife, and now it's kind of like he wants to, I don't know, to get back his love from his brother. So like he saves him here, and it's kind of like where it leads off with his character. It's kind of the anchor point for why we even have Gannicus any further, because
also about 2 points. I actually looked up the history of the stuff. Gannicus is a Celt, so he is indeed from the British.
Okay,
character.
Okay, that's what I thought, because they mentioned that at the beginning or so of his first episode, I think. Yeah.
And secondly, we're forgetting about the Roman who helps Spartacus. The archer guy who's living in the ruins of that old temple.
Have we got? We haven't gotten to him yet, have we?
No, I actually don't think he even shows up in season 4.
No.
Oh yeah, you're right. No, wait, he's not there yet. Oenomaus hasn't joined him yet. They're about to find him, right?
No, they went there.
Okay,
that's the first safe spot they found.
Okay. Okay, so that's happened by
when
this point.
Spartacus and company gets out of the, the jungle and out of the forest that they've
Forest,
already
that's
found,
where they find him. Okay.
Yeah, and that they find that temple thing. Which
okay, I didn't write that down here, so
I didn't write that either. You got me.
Yeah, you're correct. You're correct. I just didn't know it happened that early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so
awesome character.
Another great character, a Roman who had his house taken away, his family killed. He has no love for Romans,
Yeah, because Animaeus is healing up in that place.
That's where they take him afterwards. For some reason, I thought they found it after that, but after they flew from
the next episode. But
yeah,
or actually thought he was in the last season because I'm merging them a little bit, so I have to actually look at my notes.
I merged something, and I'll talk about it when we get it's later on. But the next episode is called Chosen Path. Of course, this is where Asher has his way with Lucretia for the first time, and of course, he's going down a different path because he's looking at establishing the House of Asher eventually. It's great to see Spartacus and Gannicus together in these moments, a brother, being brothers, clasping in arms. Yes, they've come a long way. I had that note here. Naevia is struggling with her past, mistreatment by Romans. We get to see Spartacus versus Gannicus.
That was the best fight.
That was a great fight, wasn't it? That was so good. And the thing is, it's like a WWE match. They do not disappoint, man. They go all out on that.
Gannicus in the show is based on a wrestler. His personality in the show is based on a wrestler.
I didn't know that. That makes sense.
I have an idea. Is it the Heartbreak Kid? Is it? Go ahead.
I can look it up.
Look it up because I think it's Shawn Michaels. I always thought he's like Shawn Michaels. I always thought that. He looks and kind of maneuvers like a Shawn Michaels.
And this is also the episode where Glaber tells his wife that I own you.
Oh yeah. Glaber's all power struggle.
All his power back.
The blonde gets killed with that arrow. Didn't Myra kill her with the arrow?
Yes.
When Gannicus is because she was the one who was stealing because she couldn't find her place. She wanted a man to hook up with to protect her so she just felt that she could grab the money, grab the maps, and run. But
I found it. It's blah blah blah, played by Dustin Clare and blah blah blah. This version of Gannicus is based on WWE professional wrestler Shawn Michaels.
Wow, I always thought that.
Yeah. That's funny. I can see it now. That's hilarious.
It's awesome. What a great idea.
It is. But it's right there on the Wikipedia page.
Okay. This is where Glaber hires Asher. Well, Asher hires all those thugs. The Egyptian, I think his name is Dagon. Well, the guy with the tattoos, face tattoos.
Oh, he's a beast. The guy with the knives.
Yeah, all of them. The Egyptian and they're just all. Again, Bernardo, I had my cards out. I was like, oh yeah, I know him. So when I play this, it was great to see this thing again, so I could re-familiar myself with who's who in the card game and the board game. But so they kill the brother, the Sepius brother in this one, and so because the Sepius doesn't want to team up with Glaber, and so Glaber, they've always been head-to-head button heads, and he's been calling out Glaber's deficiencies or shortbacks, and so Glaber finally just has enough of him and axes him and just basically takes all of his men and annexes them for his own army.
I bet you might have missed something there.
What's that?
Because that leads to Asher's downfall. When
he takes the bracelet. Yeah.
That is how he got rid of Braca in season 1.
In the first season, yeah.
So basically, his downfall is what happened to Braca, because he accuses Braca of having during a murder session with that
he didn't kill the son, right?
Even though she blamed Glaber, she didn't blame Asher.
Yeah.
No, but she sees the bracelet
in
later
his
on.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
later on she will. Yeah.
Basically a murder mission leads to the downfall. And he gets screwed over the way almost that he screwed over Braca. So it's full circle karma happening. And another thing I noticed is when Asher decides to claim Lucretia.
Yeah.
She has this expression where she's kind of realizes she's fucked, literally and figuratively, right? But here's the thing: when he does that, that's when he's fucked. He
that is true,
and she turns into his enemy. He's done when that happens.
Yeah. Again, I agree. Yeah, made a new enemy that's going to be his eventual downfall. Sacramentum is the next episode. This starts off where they're freeing more slaves on a boat. It just happens to be Argon's people. But I love it where he goes, "Don't worry." In his native language, he goes, "Don't worry, brother. We're gonna break you out of here." He went, "Idiot! They speak our language too, like the slave owners do." And so a fight breaks out, which I thought was great. The
blonde chick, Saxa.
Yes, I forgot her name. I couldn't remember her name.
Yeah.
Saxa. Yeah.
Well, it's a cheesy name because Saxons, you know. But when I was watching her and stuff, make her hair more red and you have Mara Jade. Perfect.
Oh, you're right. That would be a good. That's a good call. That would be a good Mara Jade. She would be. I agree.
Yeah.
But these guys that he has, the actors they hired, oh my goodness, they're mountains of muscle. They are mountains of muscle. And I was like, oh my gosh.
Say that because you know the guy who tries to mess with Navia, the big huge guy.
Yeah, that happens in this one. The giant.
He actually plays the Mountain on Game of Thrones. That's the character name in season 1.
That's on my list of shows I haven't seen, and I was gonna question whether or not the dialogue is on par with this because it has to be up there now, right?
Skip it. It turns into a shit show after season 4. They abandon the books and then they start contradicting the previous seasons. It's all about shock moments after season 4.
Yeah, that's why I won't watch the whole thing because I hear it just ended on a fart.
Yeah, that's why I didn't start it because I heard it ended.
It ended on a travesty, but the thing is, season 5, 6, and 7 led to that, but people kept cheering because wow, dragons! Oh, they killed someone. I'm shocked. This is the best show ever. Except the kill didn't even make any sense.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just and like I said, they abandoned the books after season 4. So for 4 seasons, it was fantastic, probably the best TV ever. And then it just gets dumber and dumber and dumber, assuming one pays attention to the plot instead of just wow dragons, right?
It's sad. It's sad when they think they're smarter than the books.
So in Sacramentum, Asher goes to Gannicus in the shop in the kind of the whorehouse, and he says my favorite lines because Asher comes up and he goes, "If you seek words, break them and be done." I don't know why I love that so much. That is such
you wrote that one down.
It's so great of a wording for what he was saying. If you seek words, break them and be done.
Be done.
I don't. It's so simple, but I loved every second of it because fuck Asher is kind of what it sounded like.
All the dialogue is really on par, on spot. Yeah,
and it also implies that if you're seeking something else, then it will also be done.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Now this is where the mountain of meat. All of them get into a fight. All of Argon's men are getting in a fight. Well, then of course Crixus looks at his girlfriend. She kind of looks. He sees the bloody lip, and he realizes the big mountain man did it. So he charges at him. Everyone's fighting. There's a girl fight going on the side too, which I thought was funny.
Argon's just being a punk this whole episode. I hated his character.
Yeah, they're doing that. He and Crixus have to clash in this one. But then Spartacus takes over and slashes the dude's face off with an uppercut that we see it fall off. And I forgot about this. The brain, as he's about to, he's kind of just dropping. The brain is slowly falling out of his skull too. It is. I mean, when Spartacus, when they try to kill someone in the show, They don't just do a regular death. They're like, no, we could do a sword through the chin up to the head, but no, we want to make it more graphic. And boy, do they make it graphic. Now, also, this is also
a little mess. There was a little message there. If you molest women, you lose face.
Yeah. Exactly.
His reaction, the "no, you didn't" look was
Crisis
is. Yeah, I love his going crazy.
He's great. He's a great actor. Anyway, the other thing is how this episode ends. Gannicus gives his answer to Glauber.
Yes,
that's just awesome. That is awesome. Well, he takes over the stagecoach and he digs the is it the lutus? What is it? What's that sword called?
Ludius?
No, that's not Ludius. I can't remember, but he digs it. It's buried into the neck of one of the baddest killers in the show. And I was like, what? That's how you do it. That's how you answer.
Well,
That's how you answer.
The shit out of all the guards, though. It's like
it's great.
Robin Hood on steroids.
It's so stinking good. So stinking good. But anyway, hold on. Oh, thank you. Okay, thank you. All right, sorry. Interruption. I don't know why I got these. Anyway, the next episode is called Balance. Gannicus. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it is Balance. I was looking.
It is Balance.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Spartacus is smart. He basically balances his troops.
That's true. That's true. This is where that old man dies, which I'd forgotten about. Stig. I really didn't remember what happened to him. I forgot he had died in this season.
Yeah, he goes down like a boss.
Oh, he does too, cursing out the Romans and everything. And we should mention before that he had gone up to Glauber and goes, "What will you give me to expose Spartacus?" He went, "I will give you riches. I will give you power." He went, "Good. Will you give me my wife, my child? You Roman pig." I was like, yes. Just everything about him was just such a great character. Such a great character.
He actually reminded me a bit of Boba Fett standing up to Vader.
Oh, yeah. Just is not afraid of anything. Now
he is not afraid of Glauber at all. He just stands up to him.
Yeah. Now Gannicus has, of course, captured Lithia at the end of the last episode. So he gives her to Spartacus to kill her and end this. Because right now, Gannicus is not one of Spartacus's men. He doesn't believe in the cause, but he doesn't want to see the killing anymore. He wants it to disperse. He thinks that Spartacus just wants revenge and that's it. But he finds out it's a lot more than that because Spartacus shows him that. Also, Spartacus eventually releases her, lets her live. And at the same time, though, she tells him that, hey, this is your child. And then I know they had to, but they redo the scene from season 1, but this time with Liam, and like I said, I'm fine. I get it. I'm fine with that. But at the same time, and we talked about this during season 1, or actually the last show, I think. Liam McIntyre's great as Spartacus.
I like him. He did really
he's
good.
Great. Yeah. And Bernard, I think you said, I really wish we could have maybe seen him in season 1. Yes, but Andy Whitfield is.
No, 100%.
I'm sorry, but he's just boom.
He killed it.
Yeah, he killed it.
I think the writing was just too good. Like I don't think anyone was going to fail that one.
But the other Liam McIntyre was the bomb.
The other thing that happened was the symbolism of Spartacus gives Glauber this little strip of his wife's dress, which is exactly what Glauber did with his wife, which was kind of funny. It was a good another full circle moment. And Asher says another one of my favorite lines. You place great stock of uncertain future on uncertain future. I'm going to start saying that. It's too good.
Yeah.
The dialogue is amazing because it has it's almost symphonic.
Yeah. It's on point with everything. I agree. The next episode is called Monsters. This is where Asher starts talking about and daydreaming about the House of Asher and what it will be. You
know what the
also
funny thing is?
go ahead. Yeah.
You know what the funny thing is? He thinks he's the big shit at that point, and you can tell that none of the others really believe him.
Believe him? No, they don't.
It's exactly the way he was when he thought he was a gladiator. He was talking like that, and nobody gave a shit. And then as soon as the bluff gets called, it's confirmed. Like, yeah, no, all of your friends are for sale easily.
Yep, I love it. Now, this is the one where, of course, the sister has previously she found out that Glauber had killed her brother. You know, Lucretia, like you said, had shown the bracelet now, trying to kill Asher and get rid of Glauber too. So they want her to kill Glauber. This is the great action scene where Glauber's naked through the whole thing, gets attacked by a woman in the bay, and then, of course, Alethea comes and kills her, and now dumps. Oh, that's great. Yeah, and just push her into the pond. It's all red, it's blood red. He gets out, and he's still got to do the rest of the scene, butt naked. You know, we see some Glauber D, big Glauber D slobbing around, and exposed. Then covered in blood, he decides to make out with his pregnant wife for killing with a dead body floating in the bathtub. That is a Tuesday. That is a Tuesday night, my friends.
Plus, the actor is gay, so
is he really?
Yes, Craig Parker's gay.
No, I had no idea.
Wow.
Yeah.
He
is such a good actor.
He does have really good skin for a gladiator. That's funny. That's great. Yeah, I never knew that. I don't even think.
Wait, if you have really good skin, that's saying something.
It was almost like he was the only gladiator with makeup.
Anyway,
that's great. That's awesome.
but he did the whole scene naked, and I couldn't concentrate like that. If it was me having to do the scene, I just feel insecure. But I mean, to do a whole scene like that where everyone else is dressed and you're there butt naked, that's pretty good.
Side note, if the orgy scenes, if you're shooting those the whole day, it's difficult for a male actor who's hetero not to get visibly interested.
That's true. That's true. Like that
husband after this show.
Like that Crixus Spartacus match in season 1 where they're in the steam room rolling on the floor, and it definitely lets you show that they're both naked. And I was like, that's some acting, man. That's some acting. When you're having swords touch during scenes where you're supposed to be fighting.
The writers were literally like, all right, so who hasn't been naked yet?
Crixus and Spartacus literally got acting tips.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's so funny. And now it ends with a good old Roman battle. They're battling the Roman soldiers. This is where Oenomaus loses his eye.
The fireball kills Vatican. What in the world?
I know, it's just insane. They retreat to mountains, but I mean, remember how he lost his eye? He stabs the Egyptian, then the Egyptian stabs his hand and creaks his thing. I was like, oh, I had to go back and watch that again. I thought, that's just awesome.
It also shows us that the enemies they have now, the Egyptian and stuff like that, they are real threats, because he did that to Oenomaus, who we have just seen earlier in the season annihilate people in that, in the pit and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, this guy, he would have killed them. In a straight up fight, because the Egyptian's probably better, and Oenomaus isn't in his prime anymore.
But came through with the swiftness.
Yeah.
So the stakes are raised, and it also shows that Glauber is willing to sacrifice his own, which makes him all the more dangerous.
Agreed. Also, Adrian here says Liam McIntyre played the Weather Wizard in CW's The Flash. Did not know that. And he's talking about his favorite. That's a good scene, but that's season 3, Adrian. We'll get to that one. I like that scene too. But yeah, so the last episode, and may I mention, this season, Vengeance, only takes 10 episodes.
And so does
the first was 13. And the thing is, it doesn't feel rushed. It is packed full. Again, tight storytelling. not any wasted time. And they said, you know what, screw it. We can shave off 3 more episodes and still get to them. It doesn't feel rushed. It's amazing.
It's every scene matters.
Yes.
You know,
every scene,
and heck, every line matters.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost 10 hours, right? Because it's 50 something minutes per episode.
Yeah, they're just about an hour each. Yeah, sometimes an hour 3, so you could technically say an hour each. Yeah.
So, but when you're watching it, it just feels like you watch one of the Lord of the Rings movies that are 3 hours. It's so good. You don't notice the time. This.
You don't notice the time. I've been binge watching these, and Bernardo knows I've been texting back and forth on this. The season finale is called Wrath of the Gods. This is where
which is reference to Wrath of the Gods of the Arena.
Wrath of the God, yes, is correct. Wrath of the Gods of the Arena. This is where Myra dies as an axe is thrown at her when Spartacus dodges it and it hits her. And the thing is, in my brain, I thought that was in season 3. I'd totally forgotten she died at the end of this episode.
Yeah, at the foot of Mount Vesuvius. But it's like, again, when they're dead, you know they're damn dead.
Yep.
She takes a hit.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it buries in her chest.
This season choreography was far superior. Like, I love the kills in the other seasons, but this one, there's multiple layers of things happening. When the axe gets thrown, that choreography sequence was
I agree. It is
no cuts, no nothing, bro.
The thing is, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, because when I first saw this, I went, I missed season 1. I missed the gladiator fights.
That's what I felt. Yeah, I was wrong.
And now watching it again, I was so wrong because they stepped up their game in their fight choreography. And I love the first season, but now we're past it. We're grown up now. We got to watch better. And I thought the same thing.
And the slow motions were even better. It was, I misremembered it all. I think because I was so fixated on season 1, I just didn't
Me too.
a chance.
It's funny how that's the one I remember the best was season 1. And then when it came to season 2 and 3, I got to mix up. Another thing I got mixed up. I now know, I think I now know who it is, but I thought Navia had killed Asher in the last season, the last season. And so, no, it was still in the mountain range in front of everyone, gives them the good old ball slash, which never gets old. Yikes. But Asher finally gets his comeuppance. Oh, go ahead.
Well, a little side note when it comes to, when I said how everything mattered, Mira's death, right? That leads to Spartacus covering her up in those roots, which leads to them realizing we can use the roots to climb down. So even her death was not pointless. It wasn't a shock moment. It led to something.
That's fair. Yeah. That's interesting. I didn't even think about that.
Yep. No. One of the other things in this finale, there's a lot to unpack in this finale. But this is where go ahead.
A badass thing though, when Asher is he's fucked and he's forced to be a messenger and go up there, which is basically a death sentence.
Oh yeah,
and so
he knows that too.
I will tell him.
And then he's like, okay, I'll go back and let him know. And Crixus is like, no, we only need your head to let him know. Right?
Yeah.
And his face was kind of like,
your head will deliver same message.
And he weasels his way out of a fight with Crixus because he was like, "Oh, take a minute,
my arm,
wounded."
Yeah.
Which is actually
why,
which is actually why he loses, because the arm's injured, really, technically, and he gets cocky. But it's Crixus doing that though. It's almost straight out of a Conan comic.
He's a lot like Conan.
He is,
in a way. Yes. Respectfully so. I'm not saying that's an insult. Yeah, respectfully awesome. So. Yeah. Oh yeah. In this one, this is where they get the idea about the ropes and how to make the vines into ropes and rappel down the mountain. That is historically accurate. That's exactly how he outsmarted Glauber. There you go.
No. Where is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so it's actually literally.
Sticker, yeah.
It's literally. It's literally the Vine intervention.
Vine intervention. That's great. Yeah, but that's how it really happened. And this was the last. They think Glauber died in this battle. I mean, historically, he died in the battle because there is no more record of him. But that battle happened that way, where Spartacus outsmarted him and made vines. They thought they had him trapped on the mountain, but he made vines into rope and rappelled down the mountainside and cut him off and flanked him.
Maybe because all the stuff about Spartacus was written centuries later by other people, and it was secondhand. So a lot of it comes from.
So these weren't Roman accounts.
Who wrote it? The Romans?
A lot of it came from Crassus's biography, kind of.
Wow, they really talked about their downfalls.
Well, Glauber may have been unsuccessful, and he would have highlighted that because he was the one that successfully killed him. This is the Egyptian dies. Onomanius gets his revenge on the Egyptian who's been
his stitched eye was so brutal. That's what I put there.
It's so brutal. And then I wrote down stomach punch when Onomanius hits him in the he's already cut his stomach, the Egyptian stomach open, and he just does a power punch to the stomach, and like you can see his like innards like flap a little bit inside. I was like, dude, that is nasty. But then of course, while all this is going on, another big drama. Lucretia has kind of unmasked herself, and she is going to take this baby and give it to Batiatus in the afterlife. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But I love
not just that. She kills the slave girls.
She kills the slave girls, but the imagery. If you notice, they put white makeup on Olithia because she's lost so much blood at this point. So she looks like a ghost. She looks like a band. The whole time I was like, wow, that's good makeup. And then I love the moonlight. I love the dress. I love the wind blowing like a dream. And it's going to, and she falls over with the baby. They're killing babies on this show, dropping them off cliffs.
Everybody's dead.
And the thing is, though, it's so artistically done. It's shot well. It's acted well. The scenery, the lighting, the costumes, the makeup, everything is a 10 across the board on that scene.
Also, it's something coming back full circle because Ilithia, when she locked him in the ludus, right, and Lucretia lost her baby because Crixus stabbed her in the stomach, right? Lucretia is taking Ilithia's baby as her own to bring to Batiatus, finally giving him a son in death. That's what it is.
Yep, that's what she's doing.
So it's perfect writing because you have the motivation right there, but it doesn't spoon feed it to you, right?
And that's another thing I said. I said, man, this makes sense. Like you said, you don't have to spoon feed the audience. The audience isn't stupid. If your writing has held up, then your audience should get clued in. They should automatically realize what's going on. And everything about that scene, I was like, man, everything. Because they made Lucretia look whiter because she's lost a lot of blood. She's dragging, trying to get her baby. And I understand we don't have to know that they cut her up. They don't have to show they don't even show her womb. But the baby's being cut out violently, probably. And that she's lost a lot of blood because she has a path of blood. Well, they don't show her cutting it out. But the thing is that they show the trail of blood behind her.
That's what they cut.
Oh, that's what they cut out. Okay.
Yeah. Well, the cutting out of the baby.
Adrian, Theocles would annihilate the Egyptian. Go ahead.
Theocles would be the Egyptian, but the Egyptian versus Dagon, the Egyptian and Dagon versus Theocles, who would win then?
There's no Primus here.
Okay. Anyway, all right. So, but that was just a fantastic scene, and I don't mind they didn't show cutting out the baby because we don't need to see that. We already know.
It was good. It was
based on the trail of blood, based on her drained face, her weakened features. We know that she's on her dying days too, or about to die, death's door too. Go ahead.
Well, Ilithia dies at the same time Glauber does, but
yes. Now,
but as a side note, Lucy Lawless has the best exit of a show probably ever with that scene.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. I love it's done in slow motion, which Bernardo told me they don't do in season 2. I was kidding with you. But it's so wonderfully shot. Every aspect of it, like I said, costume, makeup, lighting, scene set, dialogue, acting. It's just I was like, wow. And the thing is, it's not the big battle that's going on.
No, and it's it's kind of almost like a battle of the bloodline happening simultaneously, and the full moon is often a symbol of blood, the blood moon.
Yeah, blood moon. Yeah, so Glauber, I love the line when Spartacus finally gets him down. He's like, when he's kind of kneeling, he's like, now the Roman knows his place before the Thracian. He reverses the line that Glauber told him in season 1, and I was like, I'd forgotten about that. I knew how Glauber died. I didn't forget that. But I'd forgotten that Spartacus said that line. And then you think, oh, this is where he chops his head off, or splits him in two, or knocks his noggin. No, the sword comes down his throat all the way down. The sword swallowing act didn't work out for Glauber that well. And then I like how the blood, did you see how the blood is it comes up like a fountain and exits? Yeah. I was like, that is so beautiful that it's so bloody because go ahead.
It's also what would happen because the arteries would squirt and then your breath would leave as well and blow it up.
It just come out. And so and by the way, as much as we've hated Glauber for so long, again, the writing says we need to make this death and they did. Now, very rarely do I see a good death, a villain get a good death. I don't know if anyone has ever seen Rob Roy, but when Liam Neeson hacks Tim Roth with the Claymore, that is one of the best movie deaths ever because you hate Tim Roth. Tim Roth's character is despicable. You want him to die. And boy, he doesn't just die. He doesn't just get beheaded. He gets cleaved from here to here. I mean, it is just so bloody and gory, but he finally gets his comeuppance. It's a good death. It's the death you want the villain to get, and that's what they did with Glauber and Spartacus. They gave you that satisfying death, and for all the frustration, for all the hate you had for Glauber, and end on a really big, strong point. Again, Bernard, we said season 1 they could have stopped it. They could have stopped it season 2.
and there's a lot of no, go ahead.
No, well, it's also symbolic where he stabs him. He stabs him in the mouth, and Glauber's mouth is what's caused damage to Spartacus. It's the orders he's been given and stuff. He's never harmed him. Yep. He never harmed his wife physically. Mm-hmm. That was bad.
He just gave orders.
So he stabs where the orders came from.
And 2 other important things happen. One, the Trafalgar level play where Spartacus's team comes from the side while the front attack was basically a diversion, and Crixus and all them rammed the line that he created from the side, which I call it Trafalgar because of how the ships were in line. They go in line from the side. Perfection. But also Oenomaus dies and Gannicus gets his closure, and it shows, and Gannicus kind of shows some insane hand-to-hand combat I wrote there because it was pretty sick where he's rolling on the ground with his knife. It was sick.
It's awesome.
Oh, we've forgotten about a character. What's Agron's boyfriend?
What's his name? Yeah, because
Nasir.
They
finally a Syrian good guy, and the way he fights, he always hisses before he attacks like a cat. Have you noticed that? Really
I forgot.
Cool character.
Wait, he doesn't die, does he? Am I misremembering? He does.
No, not in this season. Okay. But the thing is, though, about that guy, he's one of the big co-stars in the supporting cast from then on out. But he starts off as the slave in the first Roman house they invade and take out. And the thing is, the line. You know the line.
Yes, it's like he goes.
I wish to finish. Drop trowel, sick cocking ass.
Yeah, he's like I would finish.
I would finish. Ass. Place cocking ass.
Yeah, so casually too, and he's about to do it.
And he went from there to what he is now, a gladiator, baby.
Well, he wasn't accepting it. He was ready to kill Spartacus because you took my booty from me.
Yeah.
I had it good. I had it good.
Asher says my favorite line before he dies, right? He's fighting Navian and he goes, "Delicate flower has grown thorns." I love it's the little things. I love all these lines.
That is so beautiful. That's so beautifully put. Because she was one of the untouched in Batiatus's house, and now thorns. I get it.
The Asher actor, I looked him up. He's not even 50 yet, so he must have been in his 20s when he did this show.
He still looks good in that man. I'm excited for his show. He looks good. He looks almost like it happened right after this episode.
He hasn't aged much.
It's good for him.
I am, I still think this show, the upcoming show is unneeded. I want a Caesar show instead. Yeah. But I'm sure as hell gonna watch the heck out of it.
I'm gonna love every second of it.
But anyway, season 2 Vengeance overall is fantastic. It's better than I remember. I already loved it, but it's better. I always thought the first season was the best in there, but season 2, the whole time I was going, no, this is where the story should go, and I'm enjoying this. I'm not wishing to be back in the arena.
It's just the choreography. They went from like a couple really close up slow motion hits or like Gannicus really close up with the sword slicing, but these were more like hand to hand and like actual choreography where they didn't do a bunch of cuts and like a quick slow motion here. Like they were literally they were trained to do these scenes. It was good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Excellent. And another thing is most of the scenes, a large portion of the scenes in this season is in darkness. It's at night or it's inside and it's dimly lit and stuff like that. It is to show that this is season 2 is way darker than season 1.
It is darker both physically and literally. But so excellent stuff. All right, so that's it for Vengeance. We're going to come back with War of the Damned, maybe sooner than later. But
I watched. I think I watched 2 episodes. So I'm gonna need a week.
Okay. You know what, Stig? For you, we'll give it to you because we're almost done. We can't stop. We've been binging it. That's fine. That's fine.
I'm on 5.
You know what? I'll email you as soon as I'm done.
That's fine.
I'll try to get it done.
No, that's fine.
As soon as I can. And then the 2 of you can catch up on Black Sails.
Yeah, for real.
I looked it up. It looks pretty damn good. Not gonna lie.
And it gets better and better and better.
Yeah.
And it gets really damn brutal because they get the keel holding right.
Okay. Well, I promise you, once I'm finished with this, it's on to Black Sails.
Yeah. Ray Stevenson shows up in it too. Plays Blackbeard.
Love it.
Yeah.
I'll give it. I'm definitely giving it a shot. But anyway, folks, so we will be back later on with more Spartacus later. So until then, go swallow a sword.
Place in